Hello, hello. Hello. We are back. Altered Index 2025. If you watched my video on Monday, you heard me talk about my 3-inch rings. This is what prompted it. You can see how thick this is already. And we're only on week 18 of 52. There was no way this was going to stick and still be able to fit in that little binder that these came in. So I bought 3-inch hoops, hinged rings to now contain my little index cards. All right. So this week's prompt is Zodiac. So I've got some die cuts here, an image that I printed from my DigiKits. I've got black soot in a distress oxide. I have it in the oxide only because I don't have the distress or the ink. I only have the oxide, so I'll be using that. Plus Galaxy Gold Brilliance archival ink. I've got my black blender brush, my fan paintbrush. So I'm going to do some splattering. My white acrylic paint, my liquid spray bottle, glue stick, and stamping block and stamps. All right, so let us get a rolling. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to ink all of this. That's funny. Got some book page glued on here from the last project. So I'm just laying down some black ink on here. Just so it's not a solid, it's not a, I don't want it white. I want it dark. Now, if you're new to crafting, you may not know about these blender brushes. They're actually makeup brushes, but they work really well for these inks, especially on stencils. I used to use these before I knew about these on my stencils, and these eat your stencils up big time. Wow, other way around, your stencils eat these up, and it doesn't lay your color down as smoothly, in my opinion. I don't remember the first channel I saw these on. I want to say it was Pam at the Paper Outpost, but I don't know for positive. But I made the investment in them, and I haven't looked back since. I love using these brushes. They are tightly packed bristles. Does hold a lot of ink after you've used it, but I don't mind that. I don't mind it at all. Okay, and then I'm gonna take some white paint, and again I'm just going straight down onto my silicone mat here. Spray some water in there. Use the end of my brush to kind of mix it up. Okay, but I'm going to put a little too much water in there. It's a little runnier than I want. So I'm going to put 2 little drops of paint in there. And that's going to be way more paint than I need. But it's just how it's going to have to be because I put too much water in there to begin with. So it is what it is. Okay, this is the messy part, and I should probably has some stuff covered in here, like my tablet that is sitting up there. At least cover that up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a banging, and I'm going to use my fan brush to do some splattering. So I'm going to pick up the white paint, so you notice when I had my paintbrush this way, it put big drops on. When I turned it flat, it gave me smaller drops. I have a wet wipe here, so that's what I'm cleaning off with. Spraying water directly onto my paintbrush, using the wipe. And then, before this all dries all over my desk, I'm going to clean up the splatters. And this puddle of paint. Okay, and then I have my rag to dry it off. Okay, and then we're going to take a heat tool. Pick up splatter paint, splatters all over this white paper, which would be all over my tablet had I not covered it up. Okay, so I've got some spots on here that are really raised up and will take a long time to dry, so I'm just going to kind of dab them. There you go. Ooh, that card's really warm. It's quite hot. Okay, so I meant for this to look like a night sky, right? With all the stars. Let me scoot you guys in a little. Alright, so what I'm adding to this is kind of an ode, I guess, to my husband and I and our zodiacs. I have a scale. I have my Leo, just almost too big for the scale, and his crab for the Cancer, because we balance each other out. Where I'm hot-headed, he's calm. Where he's hot-headed, I'm calm. Definitely a yin and yang. You know, we balance each other out in a lot of ways. Now, I was initially going to use my small numbers, but now that I'm looking at them, I think I need to go with the big ones. the big ones. I'm using the stamping block that has lines on it so that I can get them even and in a straight line. Theoretically. Now, we met in 1986, but we didn't get married until 1989. We met my sophomore, his junior year of high school. So, yes, we are high school sweethearts. But I am putting 1989 on here because it was the year that we got married versus the year we started dating. Because even though we started dating in 86, we were still in high school. I'm hoping this gold is going to show up on here. We were both still in high school. So he lived at home. I had a tumultuous few years of high school. So I lived in several places. My sophomore, junior year. Let's see how this turns out. Oh, kind of pretty. Yeah, you can see it. I can see it very well. You guys might not be able to see it too good on camera. So we had that we were dealing with, and not only was he, a student, but he also worked. And then not too long after, halfway through my junior year, I moved. So we'd been dating for a little bit. But halfway through my junior year, due to other life events, I moved away. So we were actually seeing each other a lot less at that point because we lived so far away from each other. But we continued to date for for all that time. And then in 88, he graduated high school and he joined the military. So then he was stationed overseas. So I didn't, that put a damper on time that we could spend together. And then I joined him on Guam after I graduated high school, and we got married in 89. I graduated in 89. Moved to Guam. We got married over there. And yeah, we've been together ever since. Many, many moves, 3 kids, and some fights along the way. But we're still here. We're still standing. We're still together. Okay. You guys might remember this lion. He appeared a few weeks ago. My crab. He's definitely a crab in his old age. He's getting super cranky. Yeah, and him and I seem to have kind of switched roles a little bit. Because where he used to be like, angry and like road ragey and road ragey in grocery stores even. Um, Now he's the calm one, and I'm the one like needing to be dragged out of grocery stores before I lose it and smack someone. And it used to be him all the time that was like that. It was like, oh my god, he's gonna hit someone if we don't get out of here. He still does not like people. He doesn't like large crowds. So getting him to go to events like the other night when we went to see my friend's band play, getting him to go to that. I mean, I was kind of surprised because I didn't mention it to him because I didn't figure he'd want to go. And then he was like, "Well, what was that thing that you said you were interested in going to?" And I told him, and he was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Okay, you're confusing me. You mean you want to go?" I mean, of course, he had his fair share of complaints while we were there because of how busy it was and the amount of people and but he went, surprisingly. Just putting a little extra into this. I mean the gold is there, but I don't think it was really standing out much. So, just kind of going in with the black. I wish this marker worked a little better because I would like to go around the outside of the gold and really highlight that, but it's not wanting to go. And I think that might be partially because it's going over the Distress Oxide. And the other part because it's an old pen, so it's low on ink. That hurt. Ow! I had another. Permanent marker. I don't have a clue where it went, why it's not in my pen holder. This is supposed to be a white marker, but it's doesn't really do much either. Yep. So I don't think I'd want to do it in white. I really want to outline that in black. I'm definitely, oh, there it is. I'm definitely not going to trust. Can I get this to be narrow enough? definitely think it stands out a little more. I just, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, another simple card for this week. Just kind of celebrating the balance in our zodiacs. You know, the lover, the fighter, the quick-tempered, the mild-tempered, the financial responsible with the super spender, all that yin and yang balance of our two zodiacs. So there is my card for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.